Hi there, nathINSANE back with another build video, and in today's video the goal in mind was to create a build on Titan where we can just constantly spam the crap out of the new ability Consecration. And we're going to call it the Spam Slam build. That's going to be horrible to say multiple times, but I'm going to try. But with like all my videos, I am going to put the build up on the screen throughout the whole video and put the dim link below so that way you guys can just copy and or not have to skip around the entire video to get what you need, because ain't nobody got time for that. So with this build, you're going to be able to slam constantly, you're going to be throwing grenades down, and you're going to be basically invulnerable because we're going to be constantly spamming our shield and getting classy restoration to proc. Now, classy restoration isn't absolutely necessary, and this build will work in the future, but for this season, I want to at least use this because it is an absolutely cracked mod to have, and you should definitely try to unlock it if you got the time and energy to do so. Also, this build's going to center around all the abilities, so really, you don't actually have to run any specific loadout. I just happen to be running weapons with Incandescent because that perk is just absolutely amazing for this season and ties in great with synergy for everything, and Galley, Parasite, anything with solar damage for the heavy weapon slot so you can get some big DPS out of the Fonts of Might mod that we're going to be running. So let's start off with the subclass breakdown really quick. So to start off with, I'm running Rally Barricade, so that way I'm not blocking any of my teammates' shots, and I'm not constantly blocking my own shots if I happen to shoot a Galley. I don't want to be blowing myself up in the face, which I tend to do anyway. For our melee ability, I'm using throwing hammers, so that way I'm not accidentally shoulder charging anything and wasting potentially some solar damage I could just be doing, and you can just choose to bonk things if you don't feel like doing the uppercut slam. And then for our grenade, I'm using Thermite Grenade because it has like a good, decent cooldown, and since I'm running towards things, I can just throw it down at the ground and it hits everything in front of me. For the aspects, I'm using Sol Invictus, so that way when we get a solar ability kill, we are creating sunspots, and when we stand in those sunspots, we get our abilities faster, on top of also getting restoration when we enter those sunspots. And this build wouldn't be complete without the point of the build, Consecration. When we slide, we do a nice big ol' melee uppercut with our hammer, and then we slam it on the ground and blow everything up in front of us. And we also do ignitions from this slam, so that's why we are running Solar Fulmination, which you will see on the class item. Now for the fragments, we're using Ember of Singeing, so that way our class ability recharges faster since we're scorching a ton of enemies. Ember of Torches, since we're going to be spamming our melees, we're going to be constantly refreshing our radiance. You can use Ember of Blistering, you can kind of swap this out for whatever you really prefer in this slot. I'm just using it for that grenade energy cooldown to come back faster, and then Ember of Solace, Radiant and Restoration effects are applied to their max duration. Since we are going to be spamming all of our abilities that are constantly causing us to be restored and radiant, I don't particularly like running Embers of Empyrean if we're doing something that revolves around spamming abilities because I like having that extra 10 resilience. Now for the mods I'm running on the equipment, I'm using Seeking Wells on our helmet and Hands On, so that way we are getting super energy for these melee kills, and so I don't have to be traveling around looking for all the wells that I'm creating. For the arms, I'm using Melee Wellmaker, Focusing Strike, and Bolstering Detonation, so that way we are getting into a nice loop of regenning our class ability so we can keep this loop going. And then of course Melee Wellmaker because we're going to be doing a buttload of melees. Now the centerpiece around this build is the Heart of Inmost Light. Whenever we use an ability, grenade, melee, or barricade, it empowers the other two abilities. So to start off with this loop, we want to start with our class ability, which is our barricade, and then throw our grenade, and then go into our melees. But after a certain point, you're basically just going to be throwing everything down. Use your barricade to heal yourself if you're in trouble and you feel like you're about to die, so that way it's like a backup, because either way you're going to be getting classy restoration or thanks to your sunspots. And then on Heart of Inmost Light, I am running Fonts of Might, so that way we are getting bonus damage for when we do use our heavy and we want to burn things. We will have boosted solar damage. And then on our legs, I'm using Innervation ×2, so that way we can get our grenades back when we do happen to pick up some orbs, or you can choose whatever you really want in this area. And then Well of Life, so that way when we do have our melee wells come to us, we get extra healing, so we're staying alive, because a lot of explosions tends to lead to death of you. And then finally, on the class item, we are using Classy Restoration, Solar Fulmination, and Well of Ordnance. All of these things just accentuate the build even further. They are not absolutely necessary. If you want, you can run something like Bomber. So mainly you just want to be giving extra boost to the build for your abilities to make them go up a bit faster. So that's why we're running Well of Ordnance, so we can get our grenade back quicker. But that's going to do it for me, guys. If you guys have any comments or anything like that, feel free to leave them below. Or if you're having any issues with this build, please let me know, because I would definitely love to help you out. Or just if you have any suggestions too, feel free to drop those. I know myself, I was having a ton of fun with this build, so hopefully you guys enjoy it too. And I will catch you guys in the next one. As always, so long and good night.